You're on sacred ground. You're on sacred ground. You're on sacred ground.
Why? You just heard the music of December Wind. Our guest today is Atsiaktonkie, and he has a new album out with his band December Wind called Hoka, which is the NAMI winning band's latest effort. It was produced by Native Music Hall of Famer Keith Sikola. The album's songs, written by award-winning songwriter, carry messages of peace, healing, and traditional values that will soothe the spirit in these troubled times. Some people hear voices. I hear music, says Atsiaktonkie, lead singer, songwriter, and guitarist of December Wind. The
Can you hear me? Hello.
Moccasin tracks, Atsiaktonkie, and I apologize for pronouncing your name.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, we try. Fantastic. We have a little bit of music in the background. We've been playing from Hoka and also December Wind, so yeah. So we've really been enjoying them. The song that we just heard was Wow, I'm a Big Boy Now, which really has a beautiful story to it. And I was hoping that maybe you would, give us a little bit more of that backstory.
Yeah, sure. It was just an idea kind of just flowed out. And the vision I had was this old man, like he kind of like took many wrong turns in life, but he had like a medicine man background and he didn't become who he was supposed to be. And he walked down rough roads, and he got a lot of chances and signs to change his life around, but he still would choose the wrong road. And when he got older, he kind of like came into a reflection of his, and he suddenly realized, like, I'm not a little boy no more. I'm a big boy. He started doing a two-step dance, celebrated, became who he's supposed to be. And it's Solomon Trimble from Twilight, the movie Twilight. He did the script for that, and he actually wanted to make it into like a movie. Who knows?
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's a beautiful story though, and I think it's kind of a lesson story too that we can all relate to. We make a lot of choices in our lives as we grow up, and so yes. That's one song that we play. We also, of course, opened with Sacred Ground from your new Hoka CD, and that's a beautiful song. Reminds us that we, of course, are always walking on sacred ground. And wow, that really came together beautifully.
Yeah, I love that song. Keith really loved. He was always walking around everywhere. He's yelling, try again.
Yes, yeah.
And
right.
Annie Humphrey was awesome on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was really precious that you got to be with all of them and do the recording.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Great experience. We just did it again for the next album.
Wow. All right, cool. Yay. Some of your songs are sad, but they all seem to be based on true stories or dreams or what's going on with your life. And Can you tell us a little bit more about the inspiration and the process of, writing a song and then getting it down to recording it and what that looks like for you?
Yeah, well, it's an adventure, believe me, because I write so much. I mean, I'll write like 2 or 3 songs a day. I
Wow.
could probably sit all day and write songs if I wanted to. If I had the time, I would just sit there and write all day. I don't know.
Wow.
I have like a kind of like those streams that have those pipes coming out of it, those springs where people get water. I'm kind of like that. It's just like
Wow.
never ending. I got so many thousands of songs, and my bass player is like, man, we got like 300 songs that could be recordable. So I might try to put some in the movies and whatever, sell them to other artists because I mean I'll never use them. I got so many.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Who
That's
knows?
really what a gift that that you have and that you recognize it. It's also, do you feel like it's poetry as well? I mean, you're writing lyrics, or is it really the melodies that come through?
I don't know. It all comes at once because it takes me like 2 minutes to write a song,
Hmm.
maybe 5. It's just like literally just boom, comes right out. And
Wow.
it's kind of weird when I think some people hear voices, I hear music.
What a
Uh,
gift.
yeah,
It's never.
it's really a gift. Yeah.
I used to think it was a curse. So
Oh.
I, I hear like even when I wrote down this idea since I've been on with you about a song. So
Oh. Um, can you talk a little bit more about the emotions that come out as you write a song? Because some of them feel, I mean, they feel like lessons, but they also feel really sad. Like
well,
the
yeah.
experience, the Broken Indian song. Um, what can you say to that? Is that something that
Well, yeah, because I that song we doesn't get talked about a lot because of the other ones. But that song, when I went to record his album, um we went in September. Like a week before that happened, my ex left me and my daughter. So I was like broken, like hearted. And so the next day I wrote that song. I'm like, geez, this is kind of like good song. But it was pretty hard to play, especially in the studio. Like after I did my part in the studio, the singing part, it was like dead silence. Like everybody was like super quiet. Like the engineers and Keith and everybody was just like, wow. And it was really powerful how it came out. So I was like, yeah, it's, and at the time when I wrote the song, I was like, oh my God, it's just me and my daughter. That's it. Like, what do I do? Can I do it? And then near the end of the song, but then it's like, yeah, we're gonna rise and we're gonna live and it was kind of like healing at the same time, so it's been a cool journey because it was like I would post things on Facebook the opposite of how I was feeling. And it was like it got me out of it and it made me stay positive and and walk that road of happiness and just I don't have to go out and say bad things. It's just I had to heal inside from it was a sadness. It was totally unexpected. And I went there with a heavy heart, but I didn't feel like I had a heavy heart when I was there because everything was just so way cool. My daughter and me, we just rode.
Yeah.
Your work is so healing, and as you're talking, Ajaduga, I get this vision of you being a stream, and your visions and your music flows through you all the time, it sounds like. And when you write a song, it's like taking a ladle into the river, dipping it in and taking a song out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
way of saying that. It's true. Like the song 215 it's powerful. It's a hard song to sing live. Because that one I actually took some time to write. I had the music, which don't usually happen, and I was on the side of a mountain doing a photo shoot, and I played some of it because we had our guitars, and Terry, my bass player, was like, "Man, this is sounding good." And all of a sudden, it all came to me on the mountain. So I started singing on a mountain. Pretty soon, we had like all these hikers were gathered around us, and
Wow.
that's when I started forming that song right there on the mountain.
Wow.
I came home that night and finished the song.
Well, for our listeners who might not know the significance of 215, tell us what it means.
Well, they like for us and people that don't know, like is Indian boarding schools and the Kamloops. I mean, the residential schools in Canada, and we've been trying to bring that to light for a while. At least I have, because I've been through it. And then it was like they found 215 bodies at Kamloops school, and since then, they've only investigated 11 places, from what I hear, and they have over 10,000 bodies so far. Mm-hmm. And then in USA, I know they found some. Mm-hmm. So in USA is only like we're at 2 or 3, and there's 500 schools in the US, and there's 300 in Canada. So there's like a lot more to go. It's going to be astronomical, the numbers of babies that need to come home to proper burials, and that's my push. And even I put the song 215 on Facebook, and it got I think around 300,000 views just in a few days. In the White House, I got the attention of the White House, but then they came back and wanted me to prove that it was national, and I was like, "You guys are the proof. You're the ones who put the schools up in the first place." So I go, if you want to play that game, then I'll just go another route. I don't really need your help. And so I'm going to put them in because they were going to offer me and my daughter the first question at the White House that morning press thing. And you get to ask a question. They were going to give me the first question over my daughter. And we want to still pursue that because I think it would be a powerful awareness campaign, I guess, better. Those are the right words, to bring more awareness, and hopefully the song will continue. And I'm going to write other songs too, in case the light dims on the song 215. I'll write more songs on it. And yeah, I think it's and I like writing songs on issues. Like this next album will have songs on water issues, and things like that.
I think it's really good. Sometimes it's easier for people to take in the issue, really through music. If they hear a song, they can, like it touches your emotion, touches your heart, and you can take it in a little bit. This is a very serious issue because, even with some of the schools, I'm trying to think of the right time frame. We're talking about a situation that happened, 100 years ago, but still the young people were taken away from their nations, from their families, and put in these residential schools. And
this happened right up until the 80s,
1980s. Right. Yeah, it was still happening. And, a lot of people don't realize that the eugenics here in New England, I want to say so-called Vermont, was happening also up until that time. And if you were considered a gypsy or, somebody that was different somebody that lived on a riverboat or native, or, you know, you were targeted, and people were sterilized, and that was happening, you know, for a long time. Still happens in prisons today. So
that's a really good point you're making, because I wrote a song. I'm going to redo it. It's called DNA, and it's about that, with the Sterilization Act.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, these are the things that you're writing about, but it is current, and it is like this living history that, you know, Native people across the nation are living today. And maybe it's beyond that, but they're still living with the trauma in their families. Maybe their grandparents, or they have an auntie, you know, that had a child taken away. You know, that those stories are still very much alive in the families. And so I thank you for, you know, putting some effort into writing music around these issues, because like I said earlier, I think it's easier for people to digest, you know, and hear it through the music.
Yeah, it seems to have a strong effect. I get, like, from that song 215, people are like just crying in the crowds wherever we go, you know, and even MMIW, which is more rockier, but that's about, you know, the Without Answers song. It's about the missing and murdered Indian woman and children that's happening right now by the thousands per week. And that alone is a strong issue. So in the song's kind of about, by us planting the seed, and you hearing it, we're joined, whether you want to accept it or not. Because some may get offended and want to walk back. I said, you can't now; it's already in you.
Yeah,
Where
you
you
know
walk.
now. Yeah, you know the story.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, and that's the whole song's about.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
You're writing really important songs.
yeah. Important for these times. I really can't say that enough, how much we appreciate it. As someone who, you know, shares music here on broadcast, it really is important to have these messages. You know, you really walk your talk, and I really honor that and respect that about you as a musician, but also as a man and a father who is, you know, walking this life right now. And can you talk to that a little bit? What it's been like for you? And it's a big role that you play, being a single parent, and like your music, I think that your words can really help people heal, and can help people realize, you know, that they're not alone. They're not the only ones feeling. You have a great heart, and a big heart that you, you know, offer up when you share your songs.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just me, you know. I just try to walk. I try to, like, I don't like feeling ugly inside. And there was a time in my life where that was normal, and I healed. It took time to heal. So I went through the pain instead of around it. Maybe being an athlete when I was younger taught me that. I don't know. But I always wanted to be bigger and better than what I was. And I wanted to be real. And the only way I could figure out a way was go right in it and dissolve it. So, you know, I tell everyone I walk with a big eraser, you know, because I'm far from perfect. But I tell my children is I don't tell them I'm sorry. I tell them I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll tell them Dad's wrong. I was wrong. You were right. And my son, I used to say, if you can get through life without listening to me, you probably do awesome. And which he has. But he says he did listen. But I've done a lot of things wrong, so I know what don't work.
Yes.
So I use my experience. But I also understand that kids or friends or people are going to do it their way, and if I can help plant a seed of maybe there's another way and leave it up to them to decide.
Mhm.
And because they have to learn from mistakes as well.
Mhm.
um and and some people are kind of like lost souls, so I just pray for them. There's nothing I can do, and
Mhm.
pray that they find their spirit and can walk a good road. So,
Mhm.
but my main thing is to give thanks. That's my big thing, is always giving thanks.
Mhm.
you
I
know
think that you are doing lots of great things simply through writing your songs. I mean, um, the words that you put out there are genuine and important.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like there's so many stories with the band. Like a long time ago, Terry and me were in the cellar, and we heard this. We were recording and down in the cellar, and we played it back, and there was like voices on it.
Hmm.
So we listened to it again, and the voices were somewhere else on the song. It wasn't in the same spot, and every time we played, it was different. So we brought in this medicine man from out west,
Hmm.
and that's the first thing he said. He goes, "This ain't your music." It made a lot of things make sense for me. It's kind of like we were talking about the river.
Hmm.
It's like I'm just putting my bottle in and it's filling it up. It's
Hmm.
not my songs. I just feel like I'm supposed to sing them.
Hmm.
It's more than a want. It's way more than a want. It's like I have to. It's like this ain't about me. I'm just a middleman, I feel like.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. And wow, what a story, that the medicine man could recognize that the songs didn't belong to you.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
first thing he said. Yeah, I
wow.
never forget that.
Yeah,
He was a Zuni medicine man.
powerful.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and what a blessing to you to have someone give you that kind of feedback. And
Yeah.
it's like a
I think
little
I
tap
always
on the
run into the
yeah,
right
yeah, hey,
people.
here's something to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, we just like really nice things always happen. Like there was times where I was going to stop playing music a long time ago, and
Hmm.
and I went to this dance where my mom was, and it was a non-drinker dance, and I never went to dances. I just at the last second decided to go because I was bored that night. And when I got there was this girl there. She goes, "You got to meet this lady. She came all the way up from Philadelphia to meet you." And I'm like, "I wasn't even going to come here." Like,
Hmm.
how do you even know I was going? And then this lady see me, she started crying, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she wanted to thank me for saving her life, and I was like, "What? I don't understand." She said she was sitting in her kitchen on a chair with a rope around her neck, and our song "She Likes Flowers" off that first album
Yeah.
came on the radio, and it saved her life, and she went and got help, whatever she was going through, and I was like,
Oh.
"Okay, creator, I hear you."
Hmm.
Because it was like
Wow.
in my mind I was done. I wasn't going to do music no more. And shortly after that, I got feathers from these people at San Jose State Prison, who they sent us feathers saying they were free because of our music, even though they're locked inside. So
Oh.
that was a great sign, and things like that. And
Hmm.
kids coming up, and it's like just reassures, like especially at the beginning when we're full of doubting ourselves and
Hmm.
doubting music. And my when I during COVID, I was doing a lot of solo shows on Facebook, and my old producer from Canaan Records came on, Stephen Butler, and he says, "Your time is now." He says, "I know that your music was 20 years ahead of its time when you first put music out when you're real young." He goes, "The world wasn't ready." He goes, "But they are now." And he said that to me a couple years ago.
Beautiful insight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was, it just, people say things at the right time, and it charges me that, because like I said, I'm human, and sometimes I forget what that medicine man said. It's not my music. It's like I say, I feel like I have to do this. It's like something I'm supposed to. It's not about me, not at all.
Yeah. Wow. That's so powerful and beautiful. And I wanted to ask you about a couple more songs on the new CD. Well, we got queued up Run, Indian Run, and another song, So They Know. I don't know if you want to tell a little bit about those songs.
Yeah, Run Indian Run's a great song. I love Annie's backup vocal on that song. It really sent chills through me. And it's just saying the ceremonies and the stars have been telling us things for years, and all we gotta do is listen, and that's our answers. Everything's there. And listen to the wind, listen to our ceremonies in whatever culture we belong. Really listen to what those ceremonies are saying. And then the other song, know my name.
So They Know. Yeah.
So they know, and it's about our names, like we were given, and it's like it's who I am. So I have to become who I am. Like and I tell my children this, and they're starting. Some of them are starting. My little one don't get it yet, but my older ones, two boys, they understand that. Especially my oldest, he just got it. Like I swear, like last week, he was going
Wow.
through struggles, and I said, now it's time to live your name. That's who you are. A strong wind.
Oh.
I said, Atsiaktonkie, my name means along the river. So like all the feelings we have when we sit near the river, that's supposed to be who I am, and that's supposed to be my walk.
Wow.
To bring that feeling, So that's who my name means, and everybody has their own names, and where research your name, where it really comes from, what it means.
That's amazing. That is.
We're all special. Everybody's super special. Like there's no one person bigger than the other.
Well, I'm just amazed because earlier I had mentioned that you were like a river, and I didn't know that was your name.
Yeah, right along the river.
Yeah.
No. That's beautiful. You weren't always walking. You weren't always hearing, the messages. And can you talk a little bit about what changed your path? What made you become who you are today?
That's a good question. I always heard the messages ever since I was little. I just had too many outside influences that I went down wrong. I had a lot of pain growing up, as you can imagine. And then I used that pain to pretty much self-destruct. Although I thought I was having fun. I thought I was being this wild and crazy guy and just do anything dangerous and why. But it was so self-destructive, and it took a counselor to tell me that, and I thought it was a compliment. I said, I'm not complimenting you, kid. Yeah. But the hard thing that was happening to me was I was a really gifted athlete growing up, and I was like all state and everything I chose, and I was top hockey player, boxer, and that was my path was supposed to be hockey, and I screw, I messed it all up by drinking, and by doing that, it opened up another door. I remember being on the streets in Florida, knowing like bumming for a quarter, and this lady didn't want to give me a quarter, and I was like, I felt like saying, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you know I'm special?" And it's like I finally I got $1. And I remember not like even people on the street would say, "You don't belong here, man. You're destined for something good." I remember this girl telling me that, and I was like, so I just felt like I was always supposed to be doing something. Then I was like, what am I going to do now? I don't play hockey. And then that's when I went and got some help for all the partying because I was 54 times in detox. I was blowing like 4 threes. I was pretty messed up. That's kind of, you're only supposed to be dead at 4-0. I'm like blowing 4 threes, talking like this, and I heard this guy said he didn't, he had 2 kids were murdered and his wife died of cancer, and he didn't drink. And I asked him why he didn't drink, and he said, "Because I don't have an excuse." And I was like, that kind of like blew me away. And I was like, so I was in this new apartment, and I knew this guy. I had this dream of John Lennon showing me chords, and but I didn't. And I went to this guy I knew, and I go, "What is this?" And he goes, "That's a C chord." I go, I told him about the dream. He goes, "Wow, it's pretty crazy." And a C and a G chord, and then from there I was obsessed. Like I would play till my fingers bled, and it was like 3 months. And I always remember I was hearing so much in my head. And I went and played his little show, and 200 people or something, and they all walked out but one person. And I was like, because I couldn't even play yet, my singing needed work, and I couldn't figure out why they left. And then my friend goes, "You got cojones, man." He's like, but I was like, I was hearing something totally different. So I had to keep practicing. And then this guy who used to be a father to one of my friends, before we go partying, he was doing artwork. He was retired. And apparently during that time, I told him that he should pursue his art. And he ended up getting on Reader's Digest. So he came to my door. He found me. This is like 10 years later. And he goes, "I have to tell you something." And I was like, he goes, and he gave me that Reader's Digest at his artwork where he wanted to thank me. And he goes, "I have to tell you, you're supposed to do music for life." And I said, "That's crazy." And I told him what was going on. I said, "I just wrote this song. It was called 'Where Are My People?' That was my first song I ever wrote.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was the very first song I wrote in my life.
Okay.
And I said, "That's crazy." So I told him, he goes, "No, you're supposed to be doing this." He goes, "Just don't forget that." So I got a call the next day from his wife. He died that night. He died.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, this is a big sign. I can't even ignore this. So I never turned my back. And then the other guy said, he says, you're supposed to be doing this. Another guy told me that. So I been doing it ever since.
Wow. I need to just say that you are listening to WZNC LP Bethlehem. We are North Country Community Radio at 99.9 FM and on the internet at nococommunityradio.org. Our guest, Atsiaktonkie, is really a wonderful storyteller and musician, writer. It's been doing music, and we've been sharing his music. We have a couple of CDs we're going to continue. And I want to welcome you back. We only have like about 5 more minutes to talk to you. So if there was a story or a message that you really wanted our listeners to take away from this conversation, and then we'll be closing. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been an honor, and I don't know, just give thanks. You know, it's easy to give thanks when it's sunny out, but to give thanks when it's raining is special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of like to live my life, is by that. Is always give thanks when I wake up and before I go to sleep. Because if I wake up, go to sleep with a smile, chances are I'll wake up with one, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think a lot of us do that, and continue to do that, and that's what feeds us and keeps us going. So we will really enjoy your music here, and we'll continue to be broadcasting. And Rick, final words?
Yes, I want to thank you for being on our show today. I'm thrilled that you are on, and you are amazing. And thank you.
Yeah. I hope that you'll come back and visit us again, and especially after the next album release, we'll look forward to that. And so thank you so much. It's really been an honor.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I think